Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Powerful Group, the world's first ROI-based networking and collaboration platform designed to connect high-potential entrepreneurs to visionary investors. Today, we have with us eminent personality from California who has really done very groundbreaking initiatives in terms of women empowerment and making sure that her initiatives are reaching to maximum people by leading channels all over the US. She will remove all the stress, she will remove all the burnout, and she will inculcate healthy habits amongst all ambitious leaders and managers and women and business leaders out there. So today, please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the confidence speaker and confidence expert, international best-selling author, and TEDx speaker, Michelle Mehta. Michelle, how are you doing today?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. And I love that intro. Every time I hear my intro, I get goosebumps. So thank you so much. Well stated. And it's such an honor to be here.
You absolutely deserve that. Frankly, we are so proud that you are part of Powerful Group, and we are looking up for you so that you can come and join us in the month of November at Mumbai. So Michelle, before we move ahead, can you please tell us about your vision, mission, and your all initiatives that you're doing for these ambitious women?
Well, number one, I feel like Indian women are just so powerful. I mean, generations down, they have been the neck of the family. They were the ones that, took care of the family. They were the ones that were the least educated in the family. And I'm talking about, in the 1800s, 1900s, and even early 2000s. I look at my grandmother at 92 years old. She basically studied up till fourth grade, and that was the max amount of education that she received. Yet she was the one that took care of her brother-in-laws that were newborn, and seeing that. And today in 2024, women are highly educated, they're PhDs, they're career-minded, and that generation gap is still present. We tend to be people pleasers. I like to call them people pleasers, where we become yes, yes, yes. And every time we say yes to something else, we say no to something else at the same time. Yes and no are complete sentences. So being part of this powerful group, it's allowing women to take their control back. And that's something that I truly believe in. Being born in America, first generation, first a girl being in my family that's born outside of India. And there was a taboo of, you're going to raise a girl outside of India. What culture, what values are you going to instill in her? And my parents said, no, times have changed. Let me show you how it's changed. And now I have 50 people within a 5-mile radius where we all are living together. And these are all my dad's cousins, first cousins that have all settled down. And having that ability, and yes, we all are together, yet we're all independent. And that's something that I want to instill in India as well, is you have the choice. And sometimes we forget. And that's something that I truly believe in.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Michelle, for this lovely introduction. So can you please go through, make the audience go through your current initiatives that you are right now working on, so that we know that where we can, sort of help you out, and audience can contribute.
Absolutely. I'm right now working with women that are experiencing burnout. Burnout is a unknown epidemic. It is happening since, it's always been there, but it's been more prevalent since COVID. What happened during COVID was a lot of men and women, they were working at an office. They had a straight 8 to 5, and then they would come and do the house stuff. Now, with COVID, everybody started working from home. So the disconnect between career and personal life blended together. Now, companies are saying you have to come back into the office twice a week, 3 times a week. So that mindset of, I was at home doing home stuff and work stuff, they were combined. Now I'm being forced to come into the office, and that mindset hasn't fully shifted, because right when they got used to something, now they're getting used to something else. And that's been causing the burnout. That's been causing the overwhelm, the frustration, the stress. And that's what I'm helping women across the country say that, hey, you know what? You need to create healthy boundaries, right? And what does a healthy boundary look like? What is a work-life balance? And there are rules in certain companies that say if you don't respond within a 15-minute radius, you're going to get reported to HR, or if you don't respond in a timely manner. So that pressure is constantly there, and saying, hey, you know what? You get to ask for what you want. And sometimes as women, we forget we have that choice. We are like, oh, if you don't ask, you shall not receive. If you ask, you shall receive. And the answer could be a yes or a no. But sometimes we just think of the worst case scenario, make it that reality. And so having that ability to speak up, and that's what I truly believe in, is allowing women to feel empowered that they have a voice and they don't have to carry on that generational struggle that they've had from their parents or their grandparents or even the generation prior to that. I remember years ago, women used to cover their faces, right? And then it started coming to the forehead, and now it's like you can keep it open. We've grown, and yet that mindset is still there because that is part of our unconscious mind.
Yeah.
And so breaking through that, and that's why creating a healthy boundary of yes and no, it's so simple. It is so challenging sometimes because, oh my God, what if I say no? Will I lose respect? Yes, you will lose respect for yourself because when you are struggling, there's no one there to support you. And we have that famous phrase in Hindi, log kya kahenge? What will people think? But who are these people? Hassan Minhaj said that in his Homecoming, series on Netflix. That's like, log kya kahenge? But like, who are these people? When you're struggling, are they there to help you? No, they're telling you, get up and get out. Why are you crying like that? Why are you feeling depressed? They don't give you a solution. They ask you the why question. Yeah. And I say, there is a reason why this is happening.
Yeah.
So, and that log kya kahenge is a fear. Yeah. And we live in that fear, and that prevents us from moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. As a powerful group, we do a lot of extensive researches on a lot of subjects. And all the subjects lead to one thing, that we want profitability to the entrepreneurs and we want greater value for money for the investors. So on this, we continuously invest on getting the research right when it comes to historical data. And historical data really, sort of told us very shocking stories that countries and states which were led by women really did better in terms of pandemic. So this was a trigger point for a lot of women to take initiatives and obviously become entrepreneurs and start their own ventures or something like that. My question to you is, what was your trigger point when you selected that this should be your initiative?
Number one, when I go back and I look at, I studied here. I studied in California. And I had this dream, I'm going to get this degree. I'm going to work in corporate. Yeah. And that was like my big, hairy, audacious goal. And I loved corporate until corporate didn't like me. When I say that, it's because, when you're laid off, that's on their will. That's not on you. It's not like I said, okay, here are my 2 weeks notice. Like I was, told to let go. And in that moment, I said, I have to do something that's right for me. And opening up accounts or opening up policies just to meet a company's goal did not feel right to me. And that's when I decided, I want to be the change I wish to see in the world. So how can I help people for them, where it's just their motive, not my motive? And that's how life coaching found me. And then I found it. And I discovered, got certified in it and truly started believing and breathing everything that I was learning, because that's what it is. Life coaching and personal development is something that is new. It hasn't been around for 100 years. Just like financial services, you have companies that are 150 years old. Life coaching is about 30 to 40 years old. It's more so prevalent now. We've always had a psychology degree, but life coaching and taking ownership of your life is a newer concept, I find it, especially in the South Asian community. And stepping into that, I say, this is what it is. I'm asking the person what they want. I'm creating a plan based on what they want. So if they're not happy with their plan, it means there's something wrong with their ideology. It's something wrong with their belief system. And so I started feeling really fulfilled when I said I'm helping people for the right reasons. Yeah. And that's how I just started this whole initiative of supporting people, supporting men, women, children, to say, hey, you have that choice. And sometimes we forget it. And a lot of South Asian community members say, why do you need personal development? You have your uncles and your aunts and your grandparents and your parents to support you. But if you're looking for an unbiased, non-judgmental approach, you need to seek outside the family support, because family loves you and they're going to see you in one way. However, if you want to get out of that one way, you have to do something different. And getting that different approach, that different mindset, that different conversation expands your horizon. Yeah. And that's what I truly believe.
Absolutely. And, there are a couple of things that we understood out of the pandemic, out of the 2003 crisis, or out of the out of the recession happened in 2008, 2009, is that the company that was meant to be grown were all growing. And the companies that did not had the foundation right in terms of cultural value, that just went off. And these were like 95% of the companies that got affected through that because their cultural value system was not strong enough. And I really believe that women representation in the leadership of the company adds a lot of cultural value where that sustainable growth comes in picture. So when we say that we are a ROI based collaboration movement and we guarantee ROI to the investors, our basic intention is that we make entrepreneurs so culturally connected that nothing could go wrong and our investor money is safe. And when we were doing this initiative, everyone told us that you are the world's first. We have never heard this before. So my question to you is, have you come across a story or some people that you could share us the idea that how does this process actually work when it comes to really empowering this confidence in women?
Absolutely. I mean, I think when you look at the leaders, right, you look at the world leaders, I mean, they have to go through so many hoops to get to the position that they are in. And when they listen to the naysayers, right, the people are like, don't do this, they take that fuel and they push it the other way that says, you know what, thank you for saying no, I'm going to run with it. And we see that with politicians. I mean, we're seeing that with Kamala Harris, right? To become the first female vice president and to now be running, as a candidate for, the Democratic Party, is she has that tenacity. And sometimes as women, we forget we have that. I mean, we're the ones that create life, right? We hold the baby for 9 months. We're the ones that, give birth. And we have that inside of us on a personal level. But when it comes to the mental or the physical level, that's where the problems start arising. And a lot of times men are like, well, you can't do that. It's a man's world. At the end of the day, it is a man's world and there is space for women. And I think in the early and mid 2000s, we're noticing that the way women handled the pandemic was very much different than the way men handled the pandemic. And it's allowing the equality to come in. And that's why education matters. And that's why having the right support system around you matters. It's who are you hanging out with? Who's your network? Right? Your network builds your network. We've heard that multiple times. So really paying attention to the women around you, to the men around you. What are they really saying? Right? And how is that impacting you? How is that supporting you? And I think that's where you look at role models, right? And there are many more female role models out there now that are saying, you know what? Let's share our stories because stories bring people together. And so more and more women are out there sharing the stories. So it's just keep sharing. That's what I truly believe in.
Lovely. As a part of the Powerful Group, we are trying to make these events work, right? But we are not an event company. We are a 24/7, 365 days, and this year 366 days running platform but to make sure that we can onboard entrepreneurs and make them investable and make sure that we can onboard investors. So today, I really feel that it's all about managing cash, right? Because since we have access to a lot of investors, that's where I really need entrepreneurs to make sure that we can fund their projects. But how are you going to utilize the entire Powerful Group, circle for your initiatives?
I think number one is believing in the process, trusting the process. Sometimes as men and women, we forget to trust ourselves. And so we seek that validation outside of us, but saying that, you know what, there is a reason why this group is here. Let's see what they have that belief that they will follow through. And as long as there is no ulterior motive other than sending and spreading pure love, nothing can actually go wrong because fear is what makes everything go wrong. Love is what brings everything together. So having that trust factor, right? Having that ability to trust the process and be open to what's out there, be open to the people that they're bringing together and be curious. One of the ways to be curious is ask questions. Tell me more about this. How are we doing this? What does this mean to you? What do you actually need? And being honest with what you're requesting, being honest with what you're sharing. And that's going to build the trust. That's going to increase the trust because right now we're in a society where trust factor is the lowest. everything is based on opinions. Most of the things on the news and in the media, it's based on opinions. So it's really taking that fact back and saying, you know what? What's really here? And how do I belong? And how can I help? And how can I serve others? You know, you're bringing a group of leaders together, which basically means we are unique in our own industry. Why not do it alone? Do it together. And we're better together, right? That's another phrase that people say is we're better together. So having that ability to trust the community, right? And trust the leaders in this group because they obviously have a vision, and ask yourself, how can one person make an impact? And that's how it shows up.
Lovely. Thank you, Michelle, so much. Is there anything else? And I mean, as a this month even hosts 21st of September as one of the International Peace Day. So, what is your message to the wide audience?
You know, I think for peace is spread more love. All right. If you want peace, you spread more love. And that love comes from unconditional love. You know, you think of a baby that is just a minute old, right? There's no belief system on this baby. This baby has just cried her himself out of the womb. And you look at it with pure love. And as we get older, that unconditional love becomes conditional because of the expectations. So if you want to increase more love, have zero expectations, right? Show up as an unconditional love and support. And that's going to, solve a lot of the problems because of the expectation. I mean, in relationships, well, I expected you to show up on time, and I expected you to be here. But at the same time, life happens, right? Traffic happens. Someone falls sick happens. You got a call last minute. Life automatically happens. So having that peace of mind, having that grace, and really just saying, you know what? Put yourself in that situation for a second. Put yourself in that shoes and say, where is this coming from? Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they're taking it out on you. So come from a place of love, come from a place of peace, and come from that place of unconditional love. And just imagine a newborn baby in front of you. How would you treat that person?
Thank you so much for your message today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to connect with Michelle more and try to be a part of her initiative, please make sure that you can go to www.powerfulgroup.com/connect and tell us what you want to say to Michelle, or if you want to contribute to any of her initiative. Thank you so much, Michelle, for your time today. It was lovely having you on Powerful Group.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was a pleasure. And I wish you guys all the best and continue to keep being powerful in yourself so you can create that movement of being powerful for others. And thank you.